Welcome to the 2021 New York State Latina Equal Pay Day virtual rally. I'm Bev Neufeld, president of Power New York. We are a network of over 100 organizations working together across the state to attain women's economic equality. Today illustrates just how much work we have ahead of us. The average full-time working Latina makes 44% less than the average non-Hispanic white male. That translates into $29,000 a year. Think about what that means in the lives of Latinas, their families, and communities. We want to hear from you during this rally, so please use the hashtag #EqualPayNY and hashtag Latina Equal Pay Day. You can find us at PowHerNY on Twitter. Well, let's get started. I'm excited to introduce you to my colleague and friend, Elissa Charters. Elissa started Latina Surge, and she is making a real difference in her community. Elissa, what does Latina Equal Pay Day mean to you?
Thanks, Bev. I love working with Power Her New York on this and other efforts to create equality. Today marks the day Latinas earn as much as white non-Latino men make in 1 year. Almost 22 months to earn as much as men in 12 months. That is unacceptable, but the reality for Latinas, even as we approach 2022. This inequality profoundly affects the lives of Latinas, our families, our community, and our state. We cannot effectively access wealth generation and curb cycles of poverty if the pay gap continues. That is why it's so important to lift up this inequality and find effective solutions. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Elissa. And thank you for the great work you are doing to empower women through Latina Surge. Before we kick off our rally, I want to thank the New York City Council Women's Caucus and the Equal Pay Committee of Power New York, especially CWA Local 1180 and Legal Momentum. It takes a lot of work to put this together, even if it's virtual, and we thank you for everything you've done. This year, we may not be on the steps of City Hall, but our speakers are no less committed to taking on and closing the Latina Equal Pay Gap. Two speakers, Assemblymember Joyner and Senator Ramos, you'll hear from them. They're sponsoring one solution to ending wage discrimination in hiring. Their bill requires that employers post salary ranges for all job openings. That puts everyone on equal footing. If you take one action today to close the wage gap for all workers, go to www.powherny.org and click to send a letter to your representative. Now let's hear from our leaders and our advocates across New York City and New York State. To kick us off, we have someone who has been with us at almost every Equal Pay Day rally, speaking out and taking action to end wage inequality. Let me welcome Governor Kathy Hochul.
Hi, I'm Governor Kathy Hochul. Thanks to my friend and fierce advocate Bev Neufeld for that introduction. And thanks to you and our friends at Power and all the amazing Latina-led organizations joining us today. And you're all continuing to fight to change the status quo to ensure equal pay for all women. I've joined you many times, shoulder to shoulder on the steps of City Hall and elsewhere, demanding equal pay, respect, and economic justice. The fact that women are still paid less than men is infuriating. And for women of color, especially Latinas, it is far worse. Today is Latina Equal Pay Day, but this is not a day of celebration. Latinas earns 56 cents for every dollar a white man earns, meaning Latinas have to work 22 months to earn what a white man makes in 1 year. How on earth can this still be the case in 2021? It is still shocking to comprehend. Weigh that with the fact that this pandemic has been absolutely devastating for women socially and economically. Women are burdened with child care, elder care, homeschooling, family care, and work to support their families. It's impossible to manage so much, and women were hurt economically as a result. So this is an equal justice issue, a social justice issue, and a family justice issue. But today is a good day to recognize the often unheralded accomplishments of so many Latinas. Think about the fact that so many Latinas are represented in healthcare, and these are the women that were so brave, putting on their uniforms as nurses or aides or doctors, running into the line of fire during COVID. Or our transit workers making sure others can get where they needed to go, and grocery clerks making sure we get food on our table. I honor all of them, and we truly know their value in the workplace. But the fact remains, they are underpaid. And as the first, but not the last, female governor of New York, I feel this tremendous weight of responsibility on my shoulders every single day. What I'm doing with this position is to publicly declare that I'm opening the doors of state government to create more opportunities for Latinas than ever before. I've been holding forums and talking to stakeholders and countless others to say I want my administration to be a place where Latinas have a major role, whether it's as young staffers all the way on up to our commissioners. So let's put the world on notice that here in New York, we don't just acknowledge a problem, that the voices of Latinas are not properly represented in the private or public sector. We do something about it. We'll also create greater access to affordable childcare. We'll support higher pay for low-wage workers. We'll provide job and skills training. And we will support women and minority-owned businesses. We'll break down the barriers to the corridors of power, whether in the boardroom or the halls of government. And we're getting money directly in the hands of women and their families that need it most through rent relief, the Excluded Workers Fund, and other pandemic relief. This is our time to unleash the power of New York's women and make sure that any barriers to success and opportunity are eradicated once and for all. Until then, we keep up the rallying cry, pay women equally, and more power to the Latinas of New York. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Tish James, Attorney General of the great state of New York, with a simple message. Our nation cannot live up to its promise that all of us are created equal until all of us receive equal pay for equal work. Thank you, Bev Newfield and the team of Power for inviting me to speak. We're here today to talk about equal pay for Latina women. In New York State, a Latina earns just 56 cents for every dollar a man earns. And they were especially hurt during the pandemic, as Latinos are overly represented in the industries that were hit hardest by unemployment. But that's just one part of systemic unfairness. Native women earn just 58 cents for every dollar a man earns. And women overall, they earn just 88 cents. We've taken positive steps in New York, expanding our existing pay equity law, banning employers from asking about salary history, electing a majority female New York City Council. But we can do better. Let's pass salary range transparency into law, because we can't demand equal pay to others until we know what others are being paid. This has been a tough time for all of us, but we are strong, we are united, and we demand equal pay for equal work. Thank you.
Hi, I'm State Senator Shelley Mayer, and it's a pleasure to join my friends at Power New York in celebrating and acknowledging Latina Equal Pay Day this year on October 21st. That's 10 months into this year and 7 months after All Women's Equal Pay Day. That's really not acceptable. The wage gap between men and women continues to be an outstanding problem that we must solve. That's why I am a co-sponsor of Senate Bill 5598B, which will require that an employer posts the range of compensation for a job. That will help increase transparency and shrink the pay gap. Thank you to my friends at Power New York for ensuring that we pay attention to this day, and particularly the wage gap between our Latina sisters and men in the workforce. I'll be continuing to fight for women of all over New York to have equal pay, to have fair pay, and I look forward to joining you in that fight.
Hello, ladies. It is time to sound the alarm for Latina Equal Pay Day 2021. On this day, we sound off on the inequities and disparities faced by Latinas in the workplace. Numbers do not lie and the math is not adding up. Latinas typically earn only 57 cents for every dollar earned by white men and must work over 21 months to earn what white men earn in 12 months. I am Assemblywoman Latoya Joyner, and I am happy to join you virtually as we rally in support of our sisters and to ensure that no one is left behind in the workplace. We have seen you this past year working hard on the front lines, risking it all to help others and your families get ahead. There's growing energy on the ground and in public policy circles focused on real solutions to change the culture of our workplace. A key piece of this movement will be legislation that I have introduced called the Salary Range Transparency Act. This legislation targets implicit bias that is built into the hiring process for so many employers. It empowers job applicants with the essential information needed to address gender-based wage disparities. It will put pressure on companies to end wage discrimination by specifically requiring transparency. It will encourage good practices by employers and protect employees against retaliation when requesting salary information. Working together, I am confident we can pass this landmark legislation and make a real difference for so many Latinas and women in the workplace throughout New York. Together, we can do great things, and I appreciate your support and partnership. Thank you for everything you do, and please remember to stay safe, stay strong, and let your voices be heard.
Hi, I am Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz, and I represent Jackson Heights in Elmhurst and Corona in Queens, New York, where we have almost 2 million Latinos. Half of them, actually more than half of them, are women, yet most of us are not getting paid what we deserve at work. We get about $30,000 less than a white non-Latino male for the same job. And we make a big portion of the workforce. And so today, on Latina Equal Pay Day, I'm urging the folks in power, that means management, that means in corporate, that means in government, to make sure that we are doing the right thing by Latinas and we're paying them what they deserve. And to my hermanas, I'm urging you to make sure that you're negotiating and that you are demanding the pay that you are worth, to make sure that tomorrow our hermanas, the ones that are coming after us, can finally get paid what they're worth, can finally get the salary that represents what they contribute to our economy, to our community, to our companies, and to our government. And so Latina Equal Pay Day, make sure that you're fighting for your worth.
Hi, I'm Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez from the 80th Assembly District in the Bronx, and I'm here to stand with my women, with my Latinas, today, October 21st, on Latina Equal Pay Day. It's already known that women make less money to the dollar than men, but Latinas make the least, 54 cents. We need to stop it. We need to stop it today and keep fighting till it is stopped. Everyone deserves every dollar they work for, and we can do so with policy, but also opportunity, giving opportunity and believing in the capable people that can do the good work out there. So talk about it, post about it. Latina Equal Pay Day, gotta end equality for all.
This is New York State Senator Pete Harckham, and I'm proud to co-sponsor the Salary Range Transparency Bill. Did you know that Latinas typically only earn 55% of what their non-Hispanic male counterparts earn? This represents the worst gender pay gap in America. It's unfair, it's unjust, it's un-American, and it also impacts all our communities through reduced economic input. So please, join me in fighting for salary equity for all New Yorkers, and let's support the Salary Range Transparency Bill.
Hola mi gente, hello my good people, Donna Vanessa Diaz representing the 37 Councilmatic District in Brooklyn. I'm also the chair of the Women, Gender and Equity, representing my women at the City Council in New York City. Palante. Moving forward, my good people, today's conversation is Latina Equal Pay Day. I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Ramos for introducing Bill 5598 and Assemblywoman Joyner for her Bill A6529B. When I was ready for home ownership, it took 2.5 jobs in order for me to have that stability, the human right of home ownership. Again, let's keep it in mind, there's no reason why an affluent Latina like myself had to work 2.5 jobs to be able to have that stable home, while my counterparts were earning double my salary. Again, it's okay to say pay me what I'm worth. Again, thank you to my partners in this conversation today. Pa'lante mi gente. Ciao.
Hello, I am Bill Magnarelli, Assemblyman from Central New York. I have spent my entire political career fighting for equal pay, independent of race, gender, or age. To take it a step further, I advocate for a living wage for everyone as a starting point, not just a minimum wage. I am very happy to support the Latina Equal Pay Day initiative and will continue working with you to promote wage equality in New York State. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Councilmember Adrienne Adams, representing District 28 in Queens. I represent the areas of Jamaica, Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park, and like most districts across our city, my district is home to a large Latinx population. I'm here today to amplify Latina Equal Pay Day. In our city, in the year 2021, the average Latina earns 55.9% of a white non-Latino man's average of $65,563, which is equal to $28,945 less for a year of full-time work. The pay gap is more disturbing and continues to create poverty-level living conditions for far too many families in the city of New York. The gap must once and for all be closed, and there must be equal pay for all Latinas. Today, we recognize and amplify Latina Equal Pay Day.
Hi, I'm Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. I am a proud Latina who represents the 34th Assembly District, which includes the racially diverse neighborhoods of Jackson Heights, East Elmhurst, Corona, and Woodside. And today, October 21st, is Latina Equal Pay Day. Today, we commemorate and recognize Latina Equal Pay Day. We do not celebrate it because what it means that it takes until today, October 21st, 2021, to earn what a white man has made for the same job by December 31st of 2020. It takes us 10 more months to earn equitable pay. Latinas earn an average of 56 cents per dollar a white man makes, and that leads to nearly $29,000 of annual lost earnings. So that's not okay, but we can do something. You can ask your member to support the wage transparency bill, which in the state assembly, I'll give you the number, is A6529A by Joyner. And in the state senate, it is S5598B by Senator Ramos. So please join us in raising awareness about Latina Equal Pay Day, and ask your member of the New York State Assembly and the New York State Senate to support wage transparency, because Latinas deserve equal pay for equal work. Pa'lante mujeres.
Hi everyone, my name is Emerita Torres, and I'm the Vice President for Policy Research and Advocacy at the Community Service Society of New York. At CSS, we deliver data-driven research, programs, direct services, and we use our research and our programs to deliver and advocate for low-income and vulnerable New Yorkers every single day. I am proud to stand with Power Her New York in our fight to address the gender and racial wage gap. Today, October 21st, is Latina Equal Pay Day. It is the day when Latina pay catches up to that of white men. Latinas typically earn just 56 cents for every dollar earned by white men. There are systemic inequities and discriminatory practices that allow this to occur. And the Latina wage gap has an immense generational effect, as it robs Latina working women and Latinx families and children from having a fair shot at reaching their full potential. And the COVID-19 pandemic and its related recession has made this all worse. Latinas have among the highest rates of unemployment at over 20%. And according to our annual On Her Third survey, 41% of working Latinas said they had $0 or less than $500 in emergency savings. Many policy experts are right to call this recession a she-cession because it is predominantly affecting non-white women. Beyond pushing women into unemployment, the pandemic and she-cession has forced hundreds of thousands of Latinas out of the labor force entirely, either because of caregiving duties or because of the changing landscape of workforce development and opportunities for employment. So what can we do about this? We can start by demanding that the New York State Legislature pass the Salary Transparency Bill introduced by Senator Ramos and Assemblywoman Joyner. When salary negotiations happen in secrecy, it affects women and women of color the most. And this practice allows specifically for discrimination and implicit bias to go undetected. Beyond this, we must urge our elected officials to pass legislation to end all subminimum wages, improve access to affordable childcare and reproductive health care, recognize gig workers for the employees that they are, and make historic investments in workforce development. Today, Latina Equal Pay Day, is a call to action, and I want to thank everyone for continuing to fight today and every day to address this glaring injustice that is the Latina wage gap.
Hello, my name is Sarah Bancone, and I'm a financial counselor at New York Legal Assistance Group in the Financial Empowerment and Advocacy Unit. So what that means is that I work one-on-one with people who are experiencing poverty or crisis, and I help them manage their finances. Many of the people who I work with are women, including women of color and Latina women. So first, if you are a Latina woman who is experiencing inequality, I just want to acknowledge that this can bring up a lot of feelings, including sadness and frustration and anger and stress. And those are completely valid responses and feelings when you're experiencing inequality. From this grassroots experience that I have, like helping people manage their inequalities, that's also why I support New York State pay transparency legislation. So what that means is that for new employees or people who are applying to jobs, the salary range of that job would be included in the job description. And then for existing employees, they would be able to request the salary range for their job title annually from their employer. So the work that I do, where I'm helping people one-on-one, is super critical and important to helping mitigate the effects of inequality. But inequality isn't an individual's problem, it's a community problem. And that's why we need public policies to help support it, to help address it, to help end it. And so that's why I'm asking you to support this legislation. You can do that by reaching out to your state senator, by sharing this rally on your social media, by reaching out to newspapers, asking them to speak about this issue as well. Anything that you can do to support this cause would be super appreciated by me and also by my clients. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Veronica Colon Rosario, and I am the Executive Director of the Puerto Rico Women's Foundation. I am talking to you today not only as a Latina, but as a resident in Puerto Rico, where the wage gap is exacerbated by the significant difference in wages between Puerto Rico and the U.S. Households in Puerto Rico have a median annual income of $20,474, which is less than the median annual income of $65,000 across the entire United States. Though it is true that Puerto Rico is one of the few jurisdictions in the world in which the median annual income of women is greater than men, it is not true when you look at wage gaps and educational level. When you compare women and men in the same educational level, you find that the wage gap is significant. Males of 25 years or older that have not graduated from high school make $2,118 more than women on the same educational level. Men who have graduated high school make $2,555 more than women in that same level of education. If they have an associate's, that increases to $2,810 a year in favor of men. But as we get more educated, we make less. When men have a bachelor's degree, they make $6,274 more a year than women who also completed a bachelor's degree. Men who completed a graduate degree make $11,858 more a year than women in the same educational level. So the disparities here are real, and despite legislation in Puerto Rico to close the gap, nothing has changed. Many factors influence the wage disparities, but as a Latina woman, in my own personal experience, I can tell you that this comes from the supposition that a woman's salary is complementary, as the man is still seen as the head of household. A woman is the caregiver of children, elderly, sick, and the disabled, so they will always be perceived as less competitive. We have to break the stereotypes. The time is now. We have to fight for equal pay both in Puerto Rico and the United States.
Hello, my name is Elisa Charters, and I am the co-founder and president of Latina Surge National and our Lean In Latina Surge network. I am also a certified diversity professional. As a long-standing leader within the Latina Latinx community over the last 20 plus years, and more recently at Latina Surge National, I believe that awareness about the pay gap, a 45% differential for Latinas as we approach 2022, is the first step towards understanding the work we must do to self-empower out of cycles of poverty and towards economic participation that all other non-Latina individuals in the workforce attain. The second step is to be in power by ensuring that our hermanas, tías, madres, hijas, y amigas all know that this pay gap exists. Communicating that the Latina equal pay gap will continue without closure unless we take action to change it. The third is to effectuate change by becoming more educated on tools and strategies to effectuate being paid with parity. We are highly educated and we have value. We expect parity not just in salary, but in every way that wealth generation is captured, as professionals, as employees, as service providers, as diverse suppliers, as small business owners, and as equitable members of society. We expect nothing less than what is fair and what is just. We also expect our corporate and government leaders to ensure that we close this pay gap and achieve parity with full commitment. Thank you.
My name is Valeria Loé, author of Uncolonized Latinas, founder of Abundancia Consciente, and Vice President for Latina Surge National. And I'm here today with you in this Latina Equal Pay Day to let you know that there is a movement starting among Latinas in which we are taking full responsibility for transforming our mindsets and unlearning the limiting cultural narratives that we embraced growing up and that had certain influence on our decisions and behaviors. So in a way, think about this. Many of us were raised feeling not good enough, feeling that what we bring to the table sometimes doesn't matter, feeling like imposters as we walk as first generation into new spaces. So we don't only work harder to prove our worth, many times we do not ask for the money we deserve. Even though we know we should be making more, we do not ask for the money and we feel uncomfortable with that. So if that's your case and you feel uncomfortable with asking for the money that is yours, that you deserve, and that is a market value for the work that you do, if you feel uncomfortable, that signals an opportunity to transform your mindset, to start talking to yourself in a more empowering way, to really embrace that you're worthy, that you deserve, and that you are where you are because you are providing immense value and you should be paid for that. So that's the movement that is starting among us, to be conscious on the decisions we make, to be conscious when we remain silent and what's the root cause of that, to start unlearning of our ancestral limiting narratives so that we can thrive together as a new collective. Being paid what we are worth and being paid for all the value that we bring to the table.
My name is Monica Martinez Milan, and I'm the Chair of Corporate and Social Responsibility for Latina Surge National. I'm also a small business owner based out of New Jersey. I was one of those statistics where I made less, 30% less than the white male counterpart. But I broke that statistic. I decided to open my own business and have the courage to do so. However, the pandemic has hit so many families really, really hard. We are here and committed to supporting women for equal pay day. We want to make sure that we bring these families back on track. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
My name is Nermeen Ahmad, and I'm president of the New York City affiliate chapter of the National Federation of Business and Women's Clubs. It is 2021, and our executive board cannot believe that the gender wage gap has not been eliminated. We wish to express our revulsion that it has taken until October 2021 for Latina women to achieve equal pay. What does this mean? It takes her 22 months to finally earn the same wage that her white, non-Hispanic male counterpart earns in 12 months. This is pure injustice. We ask New York State to pass the salary range transparency bill to help eliminate this nonsensical wage gap. We stand behind equal pay for equal work.
In New York, the average Latina earns 55.9% of white non-Latino men's average earnings of $65,563, equivalent to $28,945 less for a year of full-time work. Nationally, the earnings ratio is 55.4%, making New York's gap especially egregious because our overall wage cap is 86%. Latinas are projected to reach equal pay in 2020. One of the ways to close the gender wage gap is for New York State to pass the salary range transparency bill. We are calling on all elected officials to do that now.
As with any of the major societal problems, there has to be a multi-pronged approach to achieving equal pay. So we are recommending better jobs and pay quality through raising the minimum wage and eliminating tipped minimum wage, enforcement of non-discrimination laws and policies that are already on the books, including salary transparency, better access to higher education and workforce development, leading to well-paid jobs with benefits, okay? And support for unionization, comprehensive investment in the care infrastructure, and universal access to health insurance and paid time off for medical and family care.
Hi, I'm Francesca Burak, President Emerita of the National Federation of Business and Professional Clubs, New York City. Equal pay for Latinas means more income for families living near the poverty line, more opportunities created for children, and more enhanced economic security for women and their families. And if we were able to eliminate the salary wage gap, then Latinas who are working full-time, year-round, on average, would be able to afford to pay for one of the following. They could afford to pay for 3 additional years of childcare, or they could afford to pay for 18 months additional payments for their mortgage, or they could afford to pay for 2 years, 2 months of additional rent, or they could make maximum contributions to their employer's 401k retirement account. Or they could pay off their student loans in over just 1.5 years. That's why it is so important to get the salary range transparency bill passed in Albany. Let's get that done to help eliminate this wage gap. Thank you.
Well, we heard from some amazing leaders and advocates talking about the effects of the wage gap for Latinas and solutions. As I said in the beginning, if you want to take one action to help close the wage gap for all workers, go to www.powherny.org. There's an action there. It's easy. Click on it, and you can send a letter to your representatives telling them to take the next step to close the wage gap. Thank you for being with us, and hopefully next year we will have Latina Equal Pay Day much earlier, and we'll be celebrating outside on the steps of City Hall. Thank you.